All right,
Progress.
I'll bring this meeting to order today. My name is Claire Bedard, Vice Chair, and I'm sitting in for Christine Fawcett. I'll be running the meeting today, so I'll call the meeting to order and establish quorum.
Vice Chair Bedard,
Here,
Commissioner Crane,
Present.
Commissioner Carter,
Yes.
Commissioner Morris,
Yes.
we have a quorum.
thank you. Shall we pledge allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. At this point, are there any public comments not on the agenda? None? And then we are going to move then to the consent calendar, approval of the minutes of the special meeting of September 6th and 4. Are there any comments about the minutes? Changes needed to the minutes at all? Them? Would someone like to move for approval? Second? I'll second it. A vote?
Vice Chair Bedard,
Aye.
Commissioner Crane,
Yes.
Commissioner Carter.
Yes.
Commissioner Morris,
Yes.
motion carries.
Okay, so we'll move forward to items for consideration and action. 2, commission reorganization, reorganize to select a chair and vice chair to serve through September of 2025. Is there a report for this item?
Just a brief report, saying that we need to identify a new chair and vice chair annually. Subject to discretion, I would like to do that. That's it.
So I would like to move that we appoint, can I do that?
Before that,
Oh, okay.
before that, are there any clarifying questions from commissioners on this?
I do.
Yeah.
Can the people who have done it before run it again, or is there a limitation?
So we do need to rotate the chair annually, so the chair can't go back to back terms.
Okay,
So unfortunately, Commissioner Fawcett, who's not here, well, Chair Fawcett, who's not here, cannot be with me.
Cool. Any other questions? From commissioners, from the public? Any public comment? So with that, are there any motions?
So I can make a motion and then make a discussion, right? And then discuss the
Or-
motion.
I think it's best to probably discuss and then make a.
Okay, so let me just say that, we used to have a process whereby the vice chair would become the chair. And then somebody new would be selected as the vice chair, and that gave that person then the opportunity for a year to get to know and become familiar with the operations of the chair. And I think that that was the process up until I was nominated for chair. And Freddie graciously agreed to be the vice chair to help me. But I think it was a very good process that we had, and I would like to go back to that process, if we could. And then, so on that basis, I would move that Vice Chair Bedard, be chair.
You need a second for that? I'll
Yes.
second.
and I'll second.
Any other nominations?
I think it just makes sense. Logically, it makes complete sense to me.
With that, let's take a vote.
Yes. Vice Chair Bedard,
Aye.
Commissioner Crane,
Yes.
Commissioner Carter, Commissioner Morris, the motion passes.
Thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah.
So with that, we're not done. We need to select a vice chair. Any nominations?
You want that? Would you like to be vice chair?
Well, I would like to nominate Commissioner Morris for Vice Chair.
I will second
Okay, well, I mean, you have the ability to say no.
Yeah, sure.
it. Should we vote?
First by Crane and the second by Bedard. Commissioner Bedard,
Aye.
Commissioner Crane,
Yes.
Commissioner Card,
Yes.
Commissioner Morris,
Yes.
motion carries.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
So starting the next meeting.
Thank you. And we move to, we'll have a big party. We move to, item number 3. Recommend North County Library Authority approve initial funding of $128,765 to City of Los Altos for main library redesign improvements, design improvements, and recommend Los Altos City Council award contract to Anderson Brule Architects in amount of $128,765 for main library design improvements. Is there a report for this item?
Yes.
Oh,
You can hear me now. So staff has a presentation. I apologize for the name. The name of this item could have been City of Los Altos Main Library Improvements RFP update. I want to provide an overview of where we've been, the process we've undertaken, and then I can answer any questions. And I just want to be very clear that the Library Commission tonight doesn't need to take any action to move this project forward. The Library Commission can take action to recommend the approval to these other bodies to take that. So where we've been, October 5th, 2023, the commission created an ad hoc subcommittee on main library improvements, consisting of Commissioners Bedard and Crane. And then they worked hard until January 4th, when the commission approved the final proposal of recommendations that were presented by the commissioners. And then January 23rd, the ad hoc subcommittee presented to the city council at a study session and received direction to continue presenting to NCLA. And later that week, the ad hoc subcommittee presented that same presentation to NCLA and received direction for the city to issue an RFP on their behalf. And in January is when the project transferred from to city staff from the commissioners. So the commissioners handed off a great work product in the RFP that really set the stage for city staff to fine tune some minor details in order to get the RFP prepared to go out. And then in June of 2024, city council authorized the city manager to issue the RFP for design services for the library. And so in the RFP, it had 3 phases. Phase 1, design alternative analysis, that involves investigating the existing conditions, conceptual design alternatives, so creating some design alternatives of potential options for the library improvement, garner consensus based upon those potential design alternatives. And then phase 2 and 3 is really where the rubber meets the road once the consensus has been built, once the support for the project moves forward, to create the actual construction documents that will be going out at the end of this phase for bid-ready construction documents. And so after the RFP was created, the city issued the RFP on July 17th, 2024. And August 22nd, when it closed, the city received 9 proposals, which is a great number. It's a great testament to people wanting to work in the city of Los Altos and help design these improvements. And then in early September 2024, the RFP review committee, which consisted of myself, Anthony Garceca, assistant to the city manager for the city of Los Altos, one of our capital improvements managers for the city of Los Altos, and then Deputy County Librarian Steve Fitzgerald on the review committee. We evaluated all the proposals and graded the initial proposals based upon the criteria clearly outlined within the RFP. Once we did that, in late September, we invited all the qualified proposers out of the 9 to final interviews with the review committee, where we got to learn a little bit more about the specifics of the proposal, identify what unique elements each of them brought, and answer any specific questions they had for us in the project. And so the proposal, cities or the review committee has selected Anderson Brule Architects. Some of the reasons: they have great experience with libraries and renovations of our size, scale, and scope. So looking at what we were looking for it felt like a good fit. They do want to clearly define the scope, project needs and available budget in phase one. And so their RFP proposes that dollar amount that Pierre read out for phase one. And then we will work with them to identify phase 2 and 3 based upon the budget drafted within that phase one. So that phase one is going to be that critical element as we move through this process. And so next steps, as I mentioned, there's no action needed tonight by the Library Commission. You are more than welcome to receive this report as informational. I'm happy to answer any questions. And then in the future, city staff will present the funding request to NCLA for phase one. And then city staff will present the contractor request to the city council. And then hopefully shortly thereafter, we'll be able to commence work on phase one. And I do want to thank the Library Commission for all of their effort and time on this. It made all of our jobs a lot easier at the city staff level, and we've been happy to work on this project and we're happy to see it moving forward.
Thank you. Are there any commissioners have questions?
What's the timeline look like, in this?
So for regarding timeline, we will try to go to the North County Library Authority as soon as possible in order to get the funding request approved. And then after that, we will go to city council as soon as that we're able to after that. Once we do that, we can work on the contract and we can commence work.
Do you think that commencing work will be sometime next year, like early next year, or?
That would probably be a good estimate, probably in early 2025.
Well, I think we work on the phase one, not actual work on the renovation.
Any other questions?
I guess if we are going to recommend approval, I just wanted a little bit more understanding of the amount of $128,000. I don't have a lot of context for why that's an appropriate amount, or, you know, where it fell within the scope of similar requests. So anything you can provide would be helpful.
It was in line with the other proposals for that phase one. It was the highest, it was the lowest, it felt.
If there are no other questions, I have a question. What happens if we just recommend? I mean, does that impact it going to the NCLA? Our actions today, or will you go to the NCLA with the same speed?
I think that city staff would ideally like to have the support of the Library Commission to move forward to go to NCLA. Obviously, we want to move this project forward, and so try our best to make sure that we have everyone feeling comfortable, but the decision to allocate the funds will be by NCLA. The board contract will be by the city council.
Any idea of how much for phase 2 and phase 3 as a ballpark?
So it's at 10% of roughly 10% of the construction bid award. So depending on the total budgeted dollar amount for what the construction cost would be, and that is roughly in line with what we're seeing across the board for all construction projects.
Okay, one more question. Mr. Fitzgerald is here. How are you feeling about this?
Great, actually, we saw, you should be very happy with, the results. The 9 proposals were all very good, and, ABA clearly stood out as what we thought was the best option, and, feeling really good about it. Can't wait to move forward on the project.
Cool. Rose, while you have the mic, any comments?
No, I'm happy to be forward too. Thank you.
Are we coordinating? I know right now it's early on, but obviously there's gonna be a lot going on with the library in the next year, right? And I mean, you guys are all in lockstep, I assume, right, with what we do. One thing, okay, cool.
as part of this project, and you can see the phases illustrated here. They will investigate the existing condition. And the existing condition is what currently exists, what will exist in the future, as far as like plans that are ongoing, and so really this first step will be imperative that everyone's aware of all the elements that are going on. So with architectural work. Cool.
Just another comment that I did go online to look at ABA's public facing content. And it did look, I was pleased to see that they did have what appears to be significant experience in this type of work. So I wanted to say that. That, I think that was something that we had identified as something that was important to us as commissioners.
Thank you. Any other clarifying questions? So with that, I'd like to, public comment, yes.
I have a comment. Thank you. I have just a question. Anthony, when will this presentation be posted?
I can post it later, so
Okay.
it's available.
Okay, that would be great. Thank you.
Okay, so with that, discussion amongst the commission, discuss. Any comments or thoughts? Motions?
Let's hope it happens in our lifetime.
I know that Pierre and I worked very hard on our version of the RFP, and I saw what was given. I'm very pleased to see that the three of you looked at this very carefully, and Seth, having 9 people or 9 proposals was far more than I thought we would get, even though I really don't have a basis to know how many we would get. And so I'm very glad to hear of the strong recommendation, and this is important, and I do think the commission needs to weigh in. And so I do think based upon this, I would move that we recommend NCLA approve initial funding, and I'm just reading the subject here. Recommend approve initial funding of the $128,765 to the city of Los Altos for the main library design improvements, and recommend Los Altos City Council award contract to Anderson, is it Brule Architects in that amount for main library design improvements.
Do we have a second? So with that, take a vote, I guess.
Commissioner Bedard?
Aye.
Commissioner Green?
Yes.
Commissioner Carter? Commissioner Morris? Commissioner Carey?
Excellent. Okay, moving forward, item 4, review 2025 library commission work plan. Do we have a report, or at least we definitely have a work plan?
Just a brief report for the library commission. This looks very similar. I apologize, commissioners. Unfortunately, it is a spreadsheet, so it's very hard to get it big enough for you to read. But this is very similar to your 2024 library commission work plan, just updated with information that's up to date. I'll continue to update it as we go along. But if there's anything you'd like to add, anything you'd like to remove, anything you'd like to adjust, please feel free to let me know. I did one section, I will say, we did identify extra community liaisons. So to NCLA, to Friends of the Library, to Wally. So that has been removed from the enhanced partnerships because that's already been done. So that's the only one that's been removed. But obviously we can adjust as much as you would like. And then improve commission's presence, you can see is one of your projects. And tonight we also are bringing forward the potential to create ad hoc subcommittee on the topic. So this could be a focus area for your 2025 work. Happy to answer any questions you might have before public comment.
So I do believe that several of us have terms expiring in September of 2025, and so as this leads us into the new year. My thought is, does the commission feel that improve the commission's presence? Does that adequately, I mean, maybe it falls under that, but I do think that we need to think about how we can, you know, if, yeah, I'm not sure whose term, who can re-up, who can, I haven't looked at that, but I think the question is how can we ensure that we have people interested? I do think we had a lot of interest last time. I just want to make sure that it continues. And perhaps again, that falls under improve the commission's presence. I'm just not sure.
The other, commissioners, questions or discussion? Or questions, I guess, clarifying questions at this point. I mean, the only thing I would say, well, we'll talk about it. At this point, so if there are no more clarifying questions, Michelle?
No,
I don't know if it's a question, but I just wanted to make a comment that, you know, last time we talked about whether we need a subcommittee or if we have enough information to execute. I just wanted to make sure that we kind of talked about things like taking pictures, putting it on the wall. We talked about some social media with Rose, and like we had a bunch of ideas like that, but are we good with just those ideas and like who's gonna be executing? Are we good from the committee side, or do we need to have somebody from the committee represent as an ad hoc committee to make sure that everything gets executed? That's just my comments and questions. Like, I think we need to decide that.
You know, I've thought about that, unless you've got. You know, you're absolutely right. Does it really need a subcommittee? There are things, you know, the commission's presence has always been my thing, going from pictures on the wall to websites to articles to history of the library, you know, different work that we do to improve the presence, really of the library beyond the commission. So, but I struggle with it too. Is it something you know, it was easy with the improvements to the main library building to have a subcommittee around a project. We knew what we had to do, when it needed to be done, well, more or less. But on something like presence, it's sort of like it's a theory. And I totally get what you're saying. It doesn't necessarily mean ad hoc, but it doesn't mean that we work. So it's like.
Yeah, and it's ultimately up to the commission. You also don't need to have another ad hoc subcommittee. You can always just continue to work forward on your work plan. If there's other items that come up in the beginning of the new year, because this is your last regular meeting until January, you can, or if something comes up, then we can always call a special meeting and continue to explore. So it's ultimately up to the commission. I do think commission presence, you guys have talked about it a few times, and it's clear that there's an interest, and I think an ad hoc subcommittee could potentially take some of those ideas, put them into practice. So take some of what you guys have discussed and actually explore how you actually complete the project. And so maybe to Pierre's point, you could make it a project where you're focused on trying to make sure people know exactly what the library commission is and what it does in preparation for. There will be 3 of you that will be up for a reappointment next year.
Just one more question. When the commission went to the city council, last time with the work plan, I was online because I was sick. And so I guess my question is, from city staff, I mean, do you feel that this is in line with, obviously, you know, but with the city council's, expectations for the commission?
I believe so. This is similar to what was approved the previous time. Was updated a little bit with information as you guys have completed work this past year. I will say that the meeting, the joint meeting with the city council will provide an opportunity for feedback where adjustments can be made. So if you think back to last year, adjustments were made after that joint meeting with the city council, and so that can always happen again. There's no problem with adjusting it if there's certain feedback. I'm gonna pull it closer, so.
Yeah,
Are we having it?
there was a note that said, oh, there, your voice quality is poor. Do we have anybody online?
We do. We have a few folks online.
We have a few folks.
Commission's getting popular.
And then in here in the agenda, it says, discuss woodland library patio and establish ad hoc subcommittee if necessary. That's not here, right? Oh, or maybe we just have to say improvements to the library building instead of putting main, because there too.
Second.
I don't, yeah.
So in the, I don't want to get too far ahead, but in the staff report for the Woodland Library Patio Ad Hoc Subcommittee, I did try and articulate some of the background, which I think the commission has done a number or has done work on this before, and there was an ad hoc subcommittee that already presented a report to the council or to the commission, and it was adopted unanimously, and then the project is moving forward, but just to articulate that, it seems like there's already been work that's been completed on this, so it's ultimately up to the commission, and I know at the last meeting, this was brought up as a potential ad hoc subcommittee, so that's why staff is bringing it back. But looking at the agenda report, you can read through, it looks like there was already an ad hoc subcommittee that completed work on this project.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, that we did, and that was a long time ago, but, yes. Any other questions? My only question or comment on this is that it is fluid, and, we definitely want it, but that's for what we need done. Rose, tell us. We're too lazy to think of it for ourselves, just tell us. No, but we, obviously your feedback is great. We're here to serve. So with that, the public. No? But yeah, so back to us for discussion. Any discussion on work plan?
And I did want to offer, I'm happy to edit.
I just wanted to also add, like, I know Rose and I worked on the headphone project and we said that it's a pilot, right? And then we might have a phase 2 where we might add like fidgets or, I don't know, something extra. So I don't know, do we need to mention that here, or is it because it's like an individual work, we don't need to?
It's slightly mentioned, explore other opportunities to create new services.
Okay, great,
So
thank you.
that can be an ongoing initiative of the.
Any,
Do we need a motion to adopt this work plan?
Yeah, I think you can approve it, and then it can always be something that if in January at the first meeting, which will probably happen before the joint meetings, we can always bring it back if there's anything that Rose comes forward or a member of the commission says, hey, we totally missed this one item, but if you approve it now, then at least we have it. Which I think will be the solution as well. Not us, you all have the library.
So I move we approve the current work plan as is, with further revisions.
The improvements in Woodland being included in this.
Should the improvements in Woodland be included in this?
Yeah.
I think the idea is that we can adopt this now, we can hear about those, and we could then amend the work plan in the future. if we choose.
Okay.
If you agree.
Yes.
Or motion, second,
I'll second.
Commissioner Bedard,
Aye.
Commissioner Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Carter,
Yeah.
Commissioner Morris, motion carried.
Thank you. All right.
Should we ask the public who's attending if anybody wants to raise their hand if they're experiencing problems hearing?
Oh,
I think we want to make sure that this is accessible to the public.
Yeah. See,
Yes, I can hear.
no, I see,
It's so I can see the slides.
let me see, does it look like, NCLA President Schmidt has her hand raised, but I'm not sure, I'm gonna lower. She raised her hand.
Okay, so my understanding is that means that you're having trouble hearing.
Yeah. Lower her hand. Is there a way, since you're on, if you could go outside? I'm sorry,
Okay.
I don't mean to make it, I'm just trying to make sure.
understand.
yeah, hi, can you hear me? Cindy? I don't know, okay, so shall we go, discuss? I'm just gonna call out the next item and just for the sake, item number 5, discuss commission presence and establish ad hoc subcommittee if necessary. Let's see if somebody wanna go out the door and see if she. Come back, Cindy.
Does that mean the recording is not working?
Yeah, it's coming through now.
That's me.
Lisa, can you raise your hand if you hear us?
Understand?
No. Oh, yep, she can hear.
Cool.
All right, I see a raised hand. So Lisa, okay. Lisa, one more time, raise your hand that you could hear us. Okay, great. Okay,
All right.
so I think we're good.
Okay, on to number 5. Discuss commission presence and establish ad hoc subcommittee if necessary. Is there a report on this?
There's a report that just outlines the background, which has been touched on by the commissioners, that this item has been discussed previously. There are a number of ideas and concepts that have been floated, but nothing concrete as far as an action plan or projects moving forward. If there was to be an ad hoc subcommittee on this, you could take some of the ideas that's been discussed at the commission level and really fine tune what exactly it looks like and actually have some actionable project items.
Is there, I think that there's a clarification in the document with regard to the current number of committees. Subcommittees.
Yes, staff apologizes, at the end of both of the reports, so for this one and the next item, it does say that there are currently, 2 ad hoc subcommittees. Currently, there's only one ad hoc subcommittee for the library commission. It is Commissioner Fawcett and North, or Fawcett and Carter, on the Night at the Library ad hoc subcommittee. So you have 3 commissioners that can have 2 commissioners serve on an ad hoc subcommittee if you would like to.
Michelle?
I don't have anything to say. Yeah, it's true. Michelle?
You mean, I should take it?
No, I
No,
guess.
I mean, do you have any questions or comments?
So we have one commission left that we can form, correct?
One subcommittee.
And there's nothing else that we need to form that are a priority? Other than this one?
Did you want me to comment about this, about Christina? No?
No.
Okay.
So at this point, these 2 are the 2 ad hoc subcommittees that you voted to potentially bring forward to this meeting. If you'd like to have another one come forward, we could always have that. There's no issue with that. These were just the 2 that were presented at the previous meeting. You also don't need to form an ad hoc subcommittee on anything if you would like. You're okay to continue proceeding to work on your plan and continue moving forward.
I'm just wondering, like, if we can just agree on execution plan, maybe without the subcommittee, for example, right? Like every time the project becomes live, if we have any information to share, we can work with Rose to put it on social media, right? Like, for example, if headphones out, like we want to advertise about that and say that commission worked on it in the library renovation that we're doing. We can, that's a big thing that we should be communicating, and the library commission has done it, right? So I feel like each project manager or the subcommittee members of that particular project should work with Rose to do the social part together. I'm just throwing it out there. And Anthony, like we talked about photos, I think you already had an idea to just take a photo and execute that, right?
Unfortunately, all of you guys haven't been at the same meeting, so I haven't been able to do that, but yes. that is-
So, and then what was the other one? Just trying to remember what was the other idea. Doing some like reading, story time, right? Going to the story time or something like that. One of our members go to the story time and say, hey, we're a commissioner.
Good. And just keep in mind, you, as an ad hoc subcommittee, this could be something where maybe between now and January, 2 of you focus on this and fine tune these ideas for 3 months. We're gonna come back in January and we can always then disband the ad hoc subcommittee if you gather, coalesce all the thoughts and kind of game plan the action of what you think, what you'd like to see working with social media, the website, high level things, and then you can come down. So this doesn't, nothing is permanent about the ad hoc subcommittee, which is the good part, that you can always come back and assess.
So maybe we should have a subcommittee then. What do you guys think?
I actually think it might be helpful for our 2 people to work on it, get our ideas down, and put together a roadmap for this process with the understanding that there would be a report coming out. And I do think that we need, well, in my opinion, I think it would be helpful for us to act a little bit more promptly to disband. Once, you know, if the report is presented, it's accepted, then I think there should be with that be disbanding, because we do have so few of us who can participate. But I do think it might be helpful just to give us a roadmap for this and the timeline. And I really want to read to kids, that's fun, love that. So, I mean, that's a great idea.
And I would say, for just a note from staff is that you can make in the motion and disband the ad hoc subcommittee when the final report is received. So you can make it so you can have that in there, and then when the final report comes forward, we can make it the next agenda item, whatever that is, to say disband. If that makes sense, so that way you don't need to wait a meeting.
No, but Christine and I were a little subcommittee, we met with Rose. And about this was having to do with the night in the library. And Rose said that we should wait till after, till January. to do anything. But we still consider ourselves a little subcommittee.
Yes. Yeah, and I think you are
Right.
until it's disbanded.
But that's not fair. Rose doesn't want to deal with that this year. It's too much.
So you two would continue, and I think the question is, are the three of us available for a specific ad hoc subcommittee for this purpose that would then disband? I like you.
Two of the three.
Two of the three, yeah, or two.
Any other clarifying questions? Are there any questions from the public? Then discussion amongst us. I mean, I've listened, I agree, I think it would be good to do something on the present side and just itemize what's available. Just a report that basically lists out. And we need to be reasonable about it in the sense of we need to realize where we are in the world. And by that I mean, the commission has changed its purpose and it's where we are in the last year. We don't have a marketing arm. A lot of the things that we used to do are done elsewhere by other groups. And you know, you gotta know that. You gotta know where everything fits. And what Rose needs is a huge deal also. So anyway, so I would support doing something around the presence and only because it's one of those, it's a great topic for a project that could really have some value add.
Yeah, I agree, and I'll actually go out on a limb here, and I would like to work with you on this.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And I mean, it is gonna be over November and December, which are busy months. But I think we could put together something and Rose should be available, yeah.
Great, thank you. I was about to volunteer too, so.
Okay, and it's a great chance to get to know commissioners, so, I guess, any other?
Yeah, I wanted to be on the subject.
You're gonna be the chair.
Thanks. No, that's a great idea. That's a great idea because you, at the end of the day, you get work product. And it's there and someone, you know, can use it and we move on. I love it. So I support it. I move that, well, if it's time for a motion, I don't want to cut off discussion. But I move that we establish a subcommittee on commission presence. This needs to be worded right. That vice chair. Yeah, anyway, however you word it, we should do it. I move that we do it.
So, Commissioner Bedard moves that there's an ad hoc subcommittee focused on commission presence with Commissioners Crane and Morris that will terminate upon the final report presented and approved by the library commission. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I want to establish that once we do this, we'll be at our top end of subcommittees. That's all. So it's sort of, it obviates an ad hoc subcommittee for Woodland is my point, that I just want to make that clear. So.
Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Crane. Commissioner Bedard?
Aye.
Commissioner Crane?
Yes.
Commissioner Carter?
Yes.
Commissioner Morris?
Yes.
Motion carries. And so because of that, the next item, I could just provide a brief report and then we can just move on or take any public comment. But as I mentioned, in the staff report at the September 16th meeting, the Library Commission received a report from Chair Fawcett regarding the progress. And I outlined some of the history that in March of 22, the Library Commission Infrastructure Subcommittee presented a report on the library patio project. And then in December of 22, the Library Commission unanimously approved the project as presented. And then the subcommittee presented it to other groups for funding opportunities. And then this project has come back up in the past couple of months. It is still in the preliminary stages and will be reported back on to Library Commission as appropriate. So you will be aware of the project as it's moving forward. And right now it is still preliminary, but it has come forward to the Library Commission in the past. So I just wanted to articulate that for the record of the report. So you have that.
I would hope that it comes back to us for a recommendation and approval, even if it means us putting together a special meeting for this. It would be worthwhile to look at it. This is an exciting project that I think, is of extreme value to the community. And I just want to make sure that the commission can say, yeah, barely, it works. That's my comment.
And I guess my only comment is, as I understand it, Chair Fawcett participated in the discussions regarding, I want to say patio, but I don't think that's what it's called anymore. And so if we don't have an ad hoc subcommittee, but there is the opportunity to have a commission presence, perhaps one person can serve in the same capacity.
Correct. So now, well, Chair Fawcett, she's still Chair Fawcett, is the liaison to Lolly. So as a result, she will be the liaison, serve as the understanding of what's going on. And as appropriate, she'll come back to the library providing them. So you'll have the presence of someone there. It sounds like you have the presence of someone.
Any other clarifying questions? Any questions on this?
Well, this was a project that the infrastructure subcommittee came up with. And so I feel very much involved with this, and it's a very worthy path for the commission to follow. And since there doesn't seem to be any objections to doing this patio extension, and it meets the needs of Woodland very thoroughly, I think we should go ahead, and I want to continue to be involved in this. If there's a subcommittee, I want to be on it.
Noted for if and when there is a subject.
I think it's already in there.
Public comments? Okay. So discussion amongst commission, really, we're not doing an ad hoc subcommittee, but we want to know what's going on, and we're going to continue hearing about it.
That's good. And city staff will make sure, and I'm sure Chair Fawcett is watching the recording of this meeting. I did not live. Wherever she is, so make sure that the commission's updated regularly. Next.
Moving forward, item 7, discuss library commission representative on North County Library Authority.
So the North County Library Authority has 5 representatives. That's 2 city council members, 1 Los Altos Hills council member, 1 Los Altos appointee, and 1 at-large commissioner appointed by the Los Altos Library Commission. This at-large representative may be a representative within or outside the commission, but must be appointed by the commission for bylaws. The current library commission appointee on the board is Cindy Hill. Secretary Hill's term will end on December 31st, 2024. So as a result, the commission right now can identify a representative for the North County Library Authority Board. And you can appoint someone today, or you can do it at a special meeting to have further discussions.
I'd like to make one correction on the discussion here. Thank you. In the first paragraph where it says One Los Altos appointee, that really should be One Los Altos Hills.
As I was reading it, I recognized it. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. So there's 2 Los Altos Hills representatives,
Yeah.
2 Los Altos city council members, and then 1 at-large commissioner. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any clarifying questions? public comment?
First of all, I want to thank the Library Commission for appointing me several years ago to represent the commission. And I was acting as a bridge between the Library Commission, the Library Redevelopment Task Force and NCLA. And because I had been on NCLA before as the Library Commission representative, the Library Commission at the time thought it would be helpful to have me as the bridge. And I've enjoyed the X number of years that I've been involved with it. And I look forward to seeing who you appoint here. It was an unusual situation to appoint a non-commissioner, but it is in the JPA agreement that the Library Commission can appoint whomever they want. So if you have any questions, I am here to answer.
Can I ask one clarifying question? Does it need to be a Los Santos Hills resident?
No,
That was actually a clarification on the staff report where he misstated that it should have been a Los Altos Hills resident instead of a Los Altos resident. It has nothing to do with this appointment.
Okay,
It can literally be anybody.
okay.
And I want to thank Cindy for serving in this regard through some very tough times. She stepped up and I was on the commission when we appointed her, and she served as a binder between a lot of things that make the progress that we're making on the library very, very possible. Without you, it just wouldn't have happened. So I just, you need to know that. Discussion.
So having, worked on the ad hoc subcommittee for the library improvements, Pierre and I have attended many of the NCLA meetings. I do think that that's one of the biggest issues, or one of our biggest investments, I should say, as a commission in terms of our work with NCLA. And because of that, I would like to see, someone who, I would like to see that relationship continue. I will be honest, I don't have the bandwidth given the work that I do. But I am, from a discussion standpoint, I'm very interested in seeing, and I don't know if I can actually move now, I don't know, or just discuss. I am interested in seeing, somebody from that subcommittee, continue, on the NCLA. As our representative and somebody who is going to further the commission's agenda, for want of a better word. Any thoughts? So on that basis, I would move to appoint Vice Chair Bedard as the commission's representative on the North County Library Authority.
A second.
Thank you. I'm humble. Are there any other nominations? Aye.
Commissioner Crane,
Yes.
Commissioner Carter, Commissioner Morris. Motion carries.
I need to get a haircut. I only hope that I can do the work that Cindy has done in just helping the library and the NCLA move forward with what we need to do in the next few years. So I look much forward to that. All right. Next item. Sorry. Draft Santa Clara County Library District library programs and events policies.
Good evening, everyone. You can pull up the policy here. So we have been reviewing all of our policies as we're wont to do. And as we were discussing this particular policy, we were reminded of the fact that at various times in our collective past, we have brought some of our more public facing and community driven policies to our commissions. So this gives an opportunity for commissions to read over, become familiar with, and provide some comment towards our policies that affect their communities. So one such policy we're looking at now is our library program and events policy. This policy was last updated about 10 years ago, so it's time. And one of the most obvious things that we updated was some of the language related to our new strategic plan, so that was replaced. We've also tried to make it a little more clear and concise, a little easier to understand, and fine tuning some points that have come up over the years. We also have tried to promote equity and address our diverse communities by kind of explaining what types of programs that we promote in the libraries. And then finally, we have also strengthened some of the privacy protections related to data collection for certain circumstances, when we would do that and why we wouldn't collect it long term. So those are some of the ideas behind this policy. I don't know if you got a chance to read it before the meeting today. I'm more than happy to hear any comments about it now, but the intention is to bring it to commissions both this month and next, and present it to our JPA for final approval in January. So not this October JPA meeting, but our January. So it's a bit of a process, but we did want to highlight this particular policy because of its importance to your community. So with that, if anybody would like to comment, I'd love to hear. Yeah.
Thank you, Stephen. Any comments from the commissioners or any questions?
No so I do have a comment, and that is that I read it and I thought it was well done. I've drafted many policies. And I thought that this was very well done, and I appreciate that. One of the things I want to call out is, I'm sorry, I'm gonna forget the name, but we now have the open access, thank you. And it was something that I think, was mentioned, and then we started looking into it, and I think it happened to align. And so that was great. And so I just want to encourage, this is policy language and it's very well done. I think if there is something, like open access where you think there is an opportunity for us to support you in that, I think, that is something that I would really encourage you to talk to us about in future meetings.
Thank you. So just a reminder, we're not taking it to JPA until January. So if something does occur, please let Anthony know.
Is there a red line? Or is this new? Is this all new, or was this an existing policy?
This is based on a policy that it says 10 years old, so I'm just kind of updating that. So if look at other library systems and what they've been including with various policies for comparison. Of course, you have
Cool. Thank you. Sure. Any other clarifying questions from commissioners? Public?
Yes, just, and no one needs our vote. Yes, okay.
I like this. This is a lot better than the last one I saw years ago that had to do with, I won't call it the homeless policy, but they may have been, the behavioral thing. Yeah, that which got, actually people read it, were going, what? But this is great, and I'll read it again. And, but it looks, you're covering all the electronic things, getting people's data, stuff like that, this today, so it's really good.
Oh, I had one comment. Do we need to add, for example, sick policies, making sure that sick people don't turn up? Because nowadays it's always sick policy,
So we would have to, we follow health, Department of Health guidelines on that. So there wouldn't be anything specific where we would have language in there like prove you're not sick kind of a thing. The only thing I said, if the sickness in some way became a disturbance, then we might be able to address something that way.
This is not it because I see it everywhere these days.
Yeah.
It's like, don't turn up to the event if you're sick or if you have fever.
Thank you. And I guess let's move forward to the reports. Is that-
I think it's me again.
Oh, it's you again, okay.
I'm getting tired of listening to me already. So let's see. It's spooky season, so just a reminder, oh, great. Just a reminder that the library has blog posts and book lists to, so that to help you find your next horror novel. So make sure you visit our website for that. We also have TV shows and movies for your, via Canopy and Hoopla. We have Freegal for your music, and of course we have Creative Bug for your next DIY project related to Halloween. Excuse me. Speaking of scares, election day is upon us. The libraries at Saratoga, Cupertino, Milpitas, Gilroy, and Morgan Hill will be early voting centers and election day centers as well. And that's determined by ROV based on need in the particular area. So of course, if they wanted to use Los Altos Library, we would make it available to them should it be requested. But we also have drop boxes at all of our locations as well. So be sure to vote. If you go to the next page. Genealogy, of course, we have genealogy resources available in services such as Ancestry.com. We also have Family History Month, when individuals are encouraged to research their heritage. So you please use our DNA tools available via our electronic library. This month is also Hispanic Heritage Month, and this is an unusual one, and it's the middle of the month to the middle of the month, but we're still right in the midst of it. We have lots of performances throughout the library. We've got Quesada de Flores. The pronunciation is terrible there, I apologize. We have a flamenco performance at some of our libraries too, and I believe Rose will be discussing a few of the things here related to that at Los Altos Library. Diwali, if you go to the next page, I'm going to skip Jumpstart because I know Chris is also going to address that. I'm going to skip down to Diwali there. So we have October 31st to November 1st. We'll have events at all of our locations. I don't think this is on your slideshow just yet since it's not until November, but please be aware on November 2nd, there will be an event here at Los Altos. And finally, October 14th is Indigenous Peoples Day, so the library will be closed, but all of our electronic resources are of course still available. So it's there for any of your needs. And that's all I have.
Questions?
No, just a comment. I'm a big genealogy person, and just the online resources, what a fabulous resource for people to just put their name in, and you never know what you'll find. It's amazing. It's amazing.
It's a great source.
Yeah, a wonderful free resource.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pass it over to Rose here.
All right. So on the topic of Diwali, some of you were on the commission when Commissioner Shari Dixit was on here. So I just got a call from her about Diwali, and she wants to continue doing a display for us and be involved with the programming. So yeah, we are working on programming for Diwali. So I will move on to my presentation. So tomorrow is our volunteer appreciation event. I did see many of you did RSVP, and I look forward to seeing you there. If you changed your mind or your plans changed and you'd like to attend, please let me know. We'd love to have you there tomorrow morning. I wanted to share, these are some new stats. These are the Wi-Fi stats for Los Altos and Woodland. I just pulled a few things that I thought were interesting. So Los Altos, July, had 3,527 unique patrons using the Wi-Fi, 7,450 total visits, and the peak usage was on Wednesdays and at 4 p.m. And at Woodland, the next slide, we had 869 total visits, 468 unique visits, And peak usage had a tie, looks like between Monday to Tuesday, between 3 to 5 p.m. So I thought it was pretty interesting to kind of get a representation of the Wi-Fi usage at our library. And if you use the library frequently, you notice our Wi-Fi did recently get a really nice upgrade thanks to our IT team, and it works really well. So I see a thumbs up.
Harold did ask why you think the peak was on Wednesday. Sorry to interrupt you midstream.
You know, I don't know. This is the first of the stats that I've looked at, the Wi-Fi, so I don't have a history to look at, but I will be looking at it to see. It could be, we had events going on. It could be that the people just have more stuff to do on Wednesdays or more work to do on Wednesdays. I don't know, but I could look into it.
Just to suggest, students may have half days. Also, at 3 o'clock, you've got a big yellow bus that always comes up.
Yeah.
I've been noticing.
Yeah.
So you've got all the students coming in.
Yeah, you're right. St. Simon does have early dismissal on Wednesdays at Woodland.
Wi-Fi is.
Next slide. As Steve mentioned, we have Halloween coming up. This is Mad Art Night, is a really popular program we have at Los Altos. I've shared pictures here before that were really, really interesting to see and fun. So we have a Halloween edition of that one, and that is on October 16th. We also have NorCal Bats, which is a very popular program. It's a children's program, October 22nd. And the Day of the Dead Sugar Skull program.
Actual bats.
Yeah. Yeah, this, I forgot the name of the lady, but she breaks real bad, and then she has a, they're not flying, they're not in the light, they're contained, but very educational program. If you're in the library, I mean, you could, I was curious myself, just pop into the orchard room and check it out. We have a Sugar Skull program, October 22nd, and our very popular Furry Friends continues every month, and it'll be on October 28th. And this is something that has become a tradition. We do have Halloween story times, and we do let the children trick or treat in the library, and they get to go to the different desks. So they get to familiarize with the library, not be intimidated by the desks. And so it's a really fun program. Oh, okay, perfect. We'll do that. I didn't know that. That's good.
Does it need to be at that time, or is it all day?
That's a good question. I think they were gonna do it in alignment with the story times on those days, but I suspect on Halloween we have 2, but so we can be flexible. I just don't know I don't know the staffing level, but if you are interested other times, let me know. We'll make it work. Yeah. Outreach, we went to Canterbury School, the Los Altos Chinese School, Ventana 3rd grade, and Twinkle Child, which is a preschool. Let's see some of the children's programs, just to highlight, we have several, as Steve mentioned, Cascada de Flores, October 11th, Halloween crafts, our book clubs, and our very own county librarian, Jennifer Weeks, will be doing a special story time, or be our celebrity at the Read for the Record event on October 24th at 3:30. So she will be our guest star there. This is she will be reading the Read for the Record, is where an initiative to get everyone to read the same book. So this is Piper Chen Sings is the book that she will be reading on that day. And some adult and teen programs. We have Board Game Sunday, we have Paint Party, Happier Aging Workshop, and several more that are available on our website. And finally, this is if I wanted to share this fun picture, those are our 2 librarians, Allison and Kathy. This is a new kind of pre-K book club kind of program where they feature some books, some popular books. So this was the Elephant Piggy series, and then next month they'll have Pete the Cat. So this is just a fun program, and I like the picture of the kind of behind the scenes of them picking there. So that's all I have. If I have any questions.
Rose, I have a question for you. What is tarot art?
I know that's a good one.
October 17th.
Yeah.
Is it on?
Yeah, it's tarot cards, but I don't know much about that, unfortunately.
Does this have to do with tarot cards?
Yeah.
Oh, tarot cards, yeah. Oh, maybe.
You don't know what this is exactly?
No, I don't. I wasn't going to plan the program, but I can find out for you. I'll email you. I'll get the details and email you. Any other questions?
Questions?
Where's the Pete the Cat one gonna be at?
When is it gonna be? I don't know. I'll check. Or I know that the Heidi was telling me about it, but I will.
Thank
I
you.
can-
I'm interested because
Yeah.
my kid loves Pete.
Sure. And I'll look up and I'll email both of you.
Thank you.
How long do these programs last? About an hour?
About an hour, yeah. Some can be an hour and a half depending on the program, but children's programs are 45 minutes. Okay, thank you, Steve. So tarot art it's encouraging to receive an uplifting message and it's engaging to explore different ways of creative expression. Let's allow chance and luck to guide our artistic whims during the Halloween Samhain season. Stay with the tarot. The unplanned result is often fun and inspiring. So all participants receive intuitive prompts. We will combine colors, shapes, and supporting words to create a trio of 3 by 3 or a set of 6 and 1 5 by 1 by 3 inches mixed media artworks.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Any other questions?
I would say it's always so tough going after all the cool stuff. Heard enough for me today as far as staff reports. I did want to pull up though, just so we are aware. As we talked about, this is the last commission meeting for the year, or regular commission meeting for the year. If necessary, I will reach out to you all to schedule a meeting if we need to schedule a special meeting for whatever reason. I will start sending out save the dates for your calendar for next year. So please be ready for it. I'm going to start reserving the rooms. So next year we'll be meeting the first Thursday of January, March, May, August, September, and October. And then I will be reaching out to you about joint meetings with the city council because that will be fortunately coming crazily enough coming in before it's already October. So I'll be in touch. And obviously I do want to say, if you need anything, I'm always available. You guys don't always reach out to me and you guys do a great job looking on your own, but if you ever need me, I'm always there. Okay.
Oh, I was just gonna say, it's not gonna happen before the end of the year, is it? No.
Yeah, no.
That's it. No. Cool. Should we go moving on to commissioner reports? Should we go there? Michelle, do you want to start on? If you have a report, if you don't, that's, oh, public.
Sorry, Anthony, could you repeat what months again? I got January, March, May, September, October. There's one missing.
January, March, May, August, September, October.
Thank you.
Unless we.
Oh, can you say it again? I'm so sorry. I want to write it down now too.
Yeah, January, March, May, August, September, and October. And I will send calendar invites to all the commissioners, so you'll have it on your calendar.
Try to get information from me. Did you remember to do that? Were you too swamped to do that?
We'll talk.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't have anything to share for you. It's just a request for.
well, then I have no report to do.
Yeah.
But, I have a report. And a lot of it has to do with the Friends of the Library. There's a candidate forum coming up October 8th in the Orchard Room. That the Friends are gonna be hosting everyone who's running for city council. I want to note that 2 of the people running for city council were library commissioners. Something. And the other thing is, I've been at the library a lot lately. The book clubs are more populated. everything is really picked up. And Rose, you're responsible for the parking problem with all these events. If you didn't have events. No, but it really, a lot of people, I still get people coming up to me about parking, and the reality is it can be tough, but there's so much more use now. So it's definitely an expect. Anyway, that is it. That's it. So I adjourn it. With that, is there anything else? No?
Potential future agenda.
Oh, sorry, it's that. Thank you. Potential future agenda items.
You also don't need to have any, it's okay to not have any, but
Well, I want to hear from the subcommittee, from the new subcommittee that are next week.
But would that just fall under commissioner reports or no?
No, I think we need to
What
expect a report from you.
reported the same?
That's right, reported to speak. But it'd be nice to have a list, just have it documented. I mean, there's continual updates on what's gonna, the RFP, just the status of it more than anything, but we'll get that. I'm just trying, folks, if you have anything.
and I'll obviously meet with the chair beforehand to talk about items that come up, and obviously based upon your work plan, we can get specific as to, that could be something.
The work plan.
Work plan.
So are there any other, yes? Yeah. With that, I adjourn. Thank you.